enjoying the stillness. No.
Welcome everybody.
Morning.
Welcome to Paul Spiritualist Church again. Welcome to all those online as well who will be joining us. So it's good morning, good afternoon and good evening. Our medium for today is Mark Stone, which I know most of you will know. And without further ado, if I can ask you to lead us in an opening prayer.
Certainly. Ladies and gentlemen, if just for one moment we can close our eyes but open our hearts and minds in prayer. Gracious and divine Spirit, as we join together for this morning's service, allow us to step aside from daily life, to enter into the peace, the stillness and the healing power of this moment. Allow us in this time to reflect upon the Spirit within, to look to our own needs, and to allow the other world to draw close and to bring us strength, to bring us healing and inspiration, and touch our heart, touch our souls in a way that lifts us, that encourages us and strengthens us. Allow us in these moments to think of our friends and our loved ones and all those people throughout the world who are in need at this time. Let us send out that thought of healing and of strength to all mankind. Allow us to be the light that shines out into the world to all life, to the animal kingdom, to nature, to the earth. And allow us in these moments to realise the unity and the oneness of all life, of all beings, of all faiths, of all people. Let us realise that we are not alone, that we walk upon this world with our unseen friends and helpers, our friends and loved ones, and let us become aware of the divine light that shines within each and every one of us, and allow us to recognise this divine light in others, to realise that we are all spirits walking upon a pathway of earthly life, trying to find our own way. And let us, within this moment, find kindness, tolerance, and love for each other, no matter who or what they may be, believe, or do in their lives. Let us be mindful we are all spirits together. So as always, we place ourselves and our service in your care and keeping for this hour to come, knowing that all that is said and done, as always, is said and done in the truth, the love, and the light of Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mark. If you'd like to join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come,
thy will be done,
on earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory,
forever and ever. Amen. Thank you very much. We now come to the healing part of our service. This is where you have an opportunity to send out your healing thoughts to those in need. And I remind you that we include ourselves in this healing. Ourselves, our family, friends, and those that we may not know, but yes, wish them well as we do. So in this moment, can we close our eyes and be in silence for a while, If there's anyone that wants to call out a name, then simply raise your hand and I will point to you and you can call out if there's anyone that specifically you know that needs healing. Dear Lord, I thank you for all the healing thoughts that have been sent out, knowing that they will reach their mark and lift and heal and allow that person to live the life they were meant to live. Amen. Amen. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. At this point, I think it's right and proper, as they say, to ask our medium for the night, for the day.
Well, I could be here all day, so okay, you'll be fine.
Mark, if he'll give us his address and inspired speech.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So he's given me permission to have you here till this evening. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up.
Charge by the hour.
Good morning. It's cheaper than by the pound. Anyway, the piece I'd like to read for you this morning is a poem by Pamela S. Vinning called Looking Back. Do the dancing leaves of summer to the time of buds look back? Does the river moan regretful for the brooklet's mountain track? Does the ripened sheaf of summer, heavy with precious grain, ask for its hour of blossom and the breath of spring again? Does the golden goblet brimming with the precious ruby wine look back with weary longing to the damp and dusky mine? Is the sparkling coin that beareth the monarch's image fain to seek the glowing furnace where it purged its dross again? Would the chiselled marble gather its rubbish back once more and lie down undistinguished in the rough rock as before? Does the costly diamond blazing on the crowned and queenly one look back with sorrowful gazing to the coarse unpolished stone? And shall man, the grandly gifted, earth monarchs, though earth sons, turn back to court the shadows of existence scarce begun? Nay, with strong arm and helpful to aid the world's greatest lack, press on, not pause a moment, supinely to look back. I find it interesting when we look at the events of this last week, with the funeral of Her Majesty the Queen on Monday. We have moments of reflection that we look back in our lives, regardless of whatever you think or believe of people. We often reflect on previous times, of things that we have experienced, when we've experienced things. And reflection is an important part of life. To be able to look back at things, to learn from things, to grow from things, is a part of our development, personally, socially, spiritually. But we have to be careful that we don't become somebody that lives in the past, that we don't hold our thoughts purely to what has gone by, that we don't start to just remember the halcyon days and think, well, we'll never have it good again, that life will never be like that again. You know, friends of mine, when we reminisce on our days at the Arthur Findlay College some 25 years ago or more, we always talk about the wonderful days and, it'll never be the same. They'll never have the same tutors as we had. They'll never have the same experience as we had. We had the golden era of spiritualism, and keep hearkening back to those days. But actually, when you think of it, those days didn't exist until they were created, until they were experienced. And so there was a point when those days didn't exist and they came into being. And so just as they were created then, in all of our futures, there are days yet to be created by us. When we think of the things that we long for, that we miss, the times, the places, the people, we cannot necessarily replace, but we create new experiences. We create new life. We create new moments by what we are searching for and looking towards, not by always looking back. A friend of mine often rings me, and the conversation normally goes along the same lines about how it used to be so much easier to do this, and it was so much easier to do that, and Spirit always just made it happen for me, and it was so easy and it was so wonderful, and it's not like that now. And then I turn to her and say, it's not like that now for any of us necessarily. Life has moved on. Life has changed. And we must change with it. We talk in spiritualism of eternal progress. Not get where you're comfy and then stop. Eternal progress and unfoldment. And this is not just about the spiritual, but about the personal. How often do we think we've got there, we've got it all cosy, we've got it all sorted, we've got all our life sorted, and then someone comes in and pulls the rug from underneath. And we go, just when I got it all correct, just when it was all going so well. But actually, that change has always been ever present. It was just waiting for its moment to occur. And as we're looking at these things in our past, it's about how we react to them. Do we stop and look at things and say, do you know what? I'll never have a good life again. I'll never get that back again. I'll never have that again. If that's what we say, then the power of our mind, that wonderful creative force, will make it so. If you say, well, it's never going to work, is it? I can guarantee you it won't. Because that's what you're telling yourself. That's what you're telling the divine. That's what the whole power of the universe, that creative force, is following. I've been reading recently, well, listening. I'm an Audible freak. I love listening to Audible. I can have it on in the background when I'm doing other things. And I've been listening to a guy called Maxwell Maltz. And he wrote a book many, many years ago, back in the 50s and 60s, called Psycho-Cybernetics. Sounds very weird, sounds very odd, but he talks about the power of the mind and the power of self-image and the power that has to create the world ahead of you. So when we think nowadays of the law of attraction, and we think about people teaching visualization, meditation, affirmation, all of these things are based on some of the work that he was looking at. But he was a plastic surgeon. And he said people would come to him, you know, to have ears pinned back, noses changed and all sorts of things, some cosmetic, some very much because of medical things. And he said, but what was interesting was that people thought that if they changed the ears, the nose, the face, the mouth, whatever it might be, that they would be happier as a result because they would blame the issue upon whatever it was they weren't happy with. But he said, in fact, with a lot of people, that was never the issue at all. The issue was the way they interacted and the way they believed other things were the cause of unhappiness. And so he started to work with people and talk to people about the way they viewed themselves, the way they viewed their life, the way the past, and even the people in the past and the situations in the past that were long gone, were being kept alive in their mind by continually looking back and reminding themselves of not the good old days, but the bad old days. And when I was listening to this, I was thinking, you know, how often do we keep telling ourselves and reminding ourselves of the difficulties as well as the days past that were wonderful? Because we compare. And how often do we not look at ourselves favourably and our situation favourably? And I think we can all agree that the last few years have been upsetting, harsh, problematic for many people. But it's made us reflect. I mean, think of all that time that we were in lockdown, the majority of people that had to confine themselves. That gave us an unprecedented amount of time on our hands to sit and think. And for some people, they loved the peace and the quiet and not having to deal with anyone else, because often they think, well, it's everyone else that's the problem. So they had their peace, they had their quiet, and enforced peace and quiet, which they enjoyed. But for other people, they were brought into a time where they had to look at themselves, they had to look within, they had to stop. And that challenged a lot of people to start looking at themselves. In the development in our movement, a lot of people think that what mediumship is and what spirituality is about sort of developing these gifts, mediumship and psychic awareness and healing, etc. But actually that's only a small part. The biggest part is to take a long look at yourself, who you are, what you do, what you say, how you behave and interact with other people. Because that is part of our unfoldment. There are always things when we look back that we go, oh, I wish I hadn't said that. Why did I just open my mouth in that moment? We've had those, yes? And sometimes we're not able now to go back to those people, those situations and say, look, I'm sorry, I was a numpty. I shouldn't have said it, I shouldn't have done it, I didn't know any better, I was angry, I was tired, I was upset, I was hurting, whatever. But actually, as we do that, we learn the power of our emotions, don't we? We learn the power of words. You know, we were taught as kids, weren't we? Sticks and stones will break your bones, but names will never hurt you. Well, actually, words do hurt. Words do affect us. Things that people say, we take to heart. We think about those things. And sometimes, especially from the people that we love, the people that we admire, Those can be sometimes the most damaging words when something critical or negative comes from those people. And yet we can't go back and remove those things. But are we going to become a prisoner to the past, to those words, to those phrases, to those behaviours? The answer is no. If we understand who and what we are, every single day, in every single moment, we have a chance to be different, to be new, to expand who we are, to let go, almost like shedding the old skin and becoming new. We have a chance to put things right. I can't tell you, ladies and gentlemen, how many times I've said to people, but have you tried talking to... Oh, well, it's no point now. It'll never change. But actually, sometimes, you know, just one more time, and it might. You know, would you want people to give up on you? Would you want people to let you go and say, oh, well, I can't be bothered with them anymore. They won't listen, they won't hear. There are times when maybe we have to step back. We have to think of our own preservation. But at the same time, are we going to hold to this picture of what doesn't work, what isn't right? Are we going to say that things will never get better, that things can't be different? Will we put ourselves in the position of saying, this is it now, it doesn't get any better, I may as well give in? No. Because within every moment of our lives, there is the chance to form new memories, new things, new opportunities. We're never too old enough. We're never too old. We're never too young. When people say, well, it's not the right timing, well, it may not be the right timing, but it doesn't stop you from trying. And if you've tried something once, you can go back and keep trying. You know, those of you who have ever stepped on a church platform at their fledglings or gone into a circle, it doesn't always fall into place. It doesn't always happen the way you'd want or the way you'd hope for. Lots of things in life are like that. But it doesn't mean we stop. It doesn't mean we stop trying. It doesn't mean we stop reaching and working for something better. How do you see yourself? How do you talk about yourself to other people? I listen when I work with students. I listen to how they talk about themselves, their mediumship, their life. And I have this tendency to go, oh, hang on. You're being negative. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. You go to a course on auras and the first thing you say in the group is, well, I can't see auras. And I said, well, you're being negative. You're paying to come on a course to learn how to do something, and you're telling me before you've even started you can't do it. You haven't even given yourself a chance to experience. I'm not good enough. I'm not clever enough. I'm not brave enough. What if people don't like me? What if people don't accept me? Do you know, those are the same thoughts that run through everybody's heads all of the time in one way, form or another. You are not alone in thinking and feeling that. The thing is, we that know and understand about this power within us need to learn how to harness it. We're having a little conversation as I came in today about the confidence of standing up on a platform and working as a medium or as a speaker. And I said, you know, when we had this little conversation about amateur dramatics, and it's easy to put on a show where you learn the dance routine, you learn all the music, you learn everything that you have to do, because it's all learnt and rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed. And yet when we work with the spirit world, we can't rehearse a message. We can't always rehearse an address, because any of you that have ever tried to do an inspired address that is written, or you've written bullet points, it doesn't work that way, because your mind goes here and there as inspiration comes, as things move you. And you see, often we would turn around and say, oh, well, you know, I don't have the confidence. Do you not think that almost everybody that's ever stood on a platform has not said the same thing at one point or another? What if it all goes wrong? But we have to realise that although it looks like Jamie and I are the only ones stood up here, the place is filled with the other world. I know I'm not alone up here. I have him, I have you, I have them. There's never an I. I often talk about things and I say to people, oh, well, we went to so-and-so the other week, and they go, oh, who did you go with? And I go, no, I went on my own. And then they start looking at me going, because I tend to always think that it's myself and the other world that go somewhere. Because often wherever I am, I talk to the other world, I have that moment. So I know I'm not alone. And when I'm looking at the life that is behind me, when I'm reflecting, I ask that other world to help me to understand, to grow, to learn, but not to dwell on. And sometimes I get reminded by the other world, stop going back there. You're not there anymore. That's not the direction you're travelling anymore. You've got to not let that stop you, young man. Keep moving forward. And they're like, yeah. Just like listening to a parent. Yeah, I know. We all do it. But then we start looking forward and saying to this other world, help me, inspire me, show me the way. Because there is not just the rest of this physical life ahead of you, but so much more. What has gone, has gone. There's a lovely quote by Edward Fitzgerald, which is in his translation of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on. Nor all thy piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all thy tears wash away a word of it. What has been and gone and is done is done. It cannot be changed. The only thing you can change is your response to it. And if you're going to let it rule you. And no one else can change that but you. Because you must realise that there is so much more to be seen, to be experienced, to open up to in your life. We, each and every one of us, are explorers. We're adventurers. We're ambassadors for this other world. We're opening up a pathway, not only for ourselves, but for others. Those of you who first came through these doors maybe many years ago will have gone, oh, I don't know why I'm coming in here with all these weird people. And then suddenly you went, oh my God, these people understand me. They understand what I'm experiencing. And suddenly a different pathway opened up in front of you, didn't it? It opened up and you went, oh, this is something that's changing me, that's changing the way that I view things, changing the way that I view this world, changing the way forward. And that never stops. Throughout all of our lives, we are going to experience constant change, which we can either embrace or we can resist. You know, when I talk to students and I say, you know, I've been working as a medium for over 30 years. I know I don't look old enough, I know. But for over 30 years now. And I said, what I believed and where I thought I would be changes almost every year of my life developing. Because new things open up, new opportunities come, new people come into my life to share it. Just the same as in your life, the characters, the players and the people change to bring new experiences. But will you embrace them? Will you embrace the opportunities? Will you say, do you know what? I'm going to go out there and do something different. I'm going to start viewing myself, my ability, my life in a more positive way, rather than worrying about what everybody else thinks and me worrying about what they think. Going back to Maxwell Maltz, talking about how people viewed themselves. It was often about how they thought other people were seeing them, responding to them, reacting to them. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, what other people think of you is none of your business. We make it our business, and often, as I said, the people that we know and love, we would hope that they have our backs, that they love and support us. But sometimes we may find they don't. But do not let those people destroy your sense of hope, your dreams, your ambitions for the future. Do not let them do that. In my journey spiritually, I've had people that I loved and trusted and believed in try to destroy what I was creating. And at the time, on so many occasions, especially in my 20s, I nearly walked away from all of this as a result, because I thought, if this is how you're going to be with me, if this is how it is, well, I'm off. I've got plenty of other things I can do in life. But then I realised, time and time again, that actually this is my calling. This is what is important to me. This is what is changing me and allowing me to help other people to change themselves, not me change them. And realise that if I walk away, who wins? That person who put the knife in. It reminds me to be aware of people. It taught me, and I thank them for teaching me, that not everyone who is spiritual is really spiritual. That people are people, and sometimes those people are not always the most loving of people, but people are people. But when I look ahead of me, I know that there are people who will come in and we will work and we will be inspired and we will move forward in our lives. I know that ahead of me is 30 or 40 more years of work. I might even decide to leave while I'm working on a platform. That might be fun. Not for the chairperson, it's all right, don't worry, not today. You know, be the Tommy Cooper of mediumship and just go, bless him. But why not? If something is important to you, why let others stop you from being a part of that? If you have a dream or a desire, even if no one thinks it's possible, so long as you believe it's possible, you will find the people. You can put it out to the other world. Help me to find the way forward. Help me to find the help that I so need. Help me to find my tribe, if you like. Even if no one in your household, if everyone else says, that weirdy stuff you do, still do it because you love it. Still realise that there is so much you have left to offer in life, no matter where you are. Realise that golden memories are still yet to be created in your life. Wonderful times still await you, no matter how difficult things may seem. There are still moments of joy. There are still moments of happiness. No matter how you view the world. You might turn around and go, God, what an awful world it is. I don't. I think it's a wonderful world. There's just some awful people and some awful situations that are in it at times. But then again, haven't there always been? The scale, the change, the place, the knowledge, that all changes. But generally, people are people. Situations are situations. Governments, politicians, and everything else come and go. Regimes change, people change. But yet life goes on. And so as you look forward, realise that only look back with a sense of learning and growth and reflection, but don't make a home there. Look forward, be positive, and see yourself as you want to be. Not as other people have told you, not as you think other people see you, but as you want to be. See yourself happy. See yourself healthy. See yourself doing the things you want to do. If it's your aspiration to stand on a platform, Imagine yourself on a platform doing a wonderful demonstration, a la Gordon Higginson style. If you want to be a great healer, imagine yourself sitting with people and people just jumping up, stick free, whatever, suddenly, because you're allowing yourself to open to the possibilities of the unlimited. There is no limit to who and what you are other than the ones you place in your mind. All things can be overcome. All things can transform. It just depends on the story you choose to tell yourself, what you choose to believe, and if you think it's all done and dusted and it'll never be different. That is within your ability to change, no one else's. We can inspire. You can read as many books as you like. You might be a shelf help person who buys all the good books, how to help yourself, and then they remain on a shelf. While they sit on that shelf, nothing changes. I can see a few people looking at each other. It's the same as when you say, right, I'm gonna do juicing. And you go out, you buy the juicer, you buy all the fruit and the veg, and about 3 weeks later it's behind the toaster and the Breville machine. We all do it. We all promise change, but sometimes do we make change harder than it needs to be? Can we not actually start with just viewing ourselves a little different? Being a little more kind, being a little more self-nurturing, self-loving. If you talk to any mentors, any coaches, any gurus or anything, it starts with little simple steps. A little kinder, a little more loving, a little more self-accepting, and then just making those changes one day at a time and recognising how we maybe are holding ourselves back. Allow yourself the chance to change by seeing yourself differently, seeing the world differently, even seeing other people differently. Even those who will not change, accept the beauty of whatever it is. Even if you've got cranky monkeys in your life who don't want to change, who bemoan everything. Just think, isn't it marvellous? I've got my own version of One Foot in the Grave's Victor Meldrew to deal with in my life. And I can smile at the absurdity of the negativity that this person holds about life and the way of things. Or for those of you old enough, your own Alf Garnett. But some things in life we just have to realise we can go beyond them. The power of our spirit, the power of our mind to create, we can go beyond them. But start from within and let it ripple out. So I'll leave those thoughts with you and say good morning.
Well, thank you, Mark. Lots there to think about. We're going for ages, that. The next part is to sing, to raise the vibrations with some nice music and a song, a hymn. Let's see where we are with this one. Yeah, just a reminder, your free will option will be taken during this hymn. Just now like to ask Mark if he'll give us his demonstration of evidential mediumship.
Thank you,
very
Jamie.
much.
That'll teach me for choosing a hymn I find emotional. It's one of my the very first time I demonstrated on a church, I heard the spirit world singing that, and the power of it. It always has such an effect on me. Now, I'm sure that most of you know how this works, but if you are here for the first time and you haven't been to a demonstration before, sometimes as mediums we know exactly where we want to go to. Other times we get information and we ask if you understand it, and if you do understand it, please put your hand up and say, yes, I know that, I understand that. Please don't sit on your hands waiting forever and a day for one particular thing just to come up to prove it to you. That's the job of unfolding the message as we go. And please don't come up to me after the demonstration and say, you know, the thing that no one else could take, I could take that. I do not have a 1471 ring back facility. Once it's finished, I'm thinking of Paul getting me a very nice cup of coffee and a biscuit. And, subtle hint, and get it ready. And then we see where we go. So, we will have nice yeses, yes? Yes. Quieter no's, and maybe you're not sure. Okay. Do your bit. All right. All the power, Lawrence. I can feel why you like doing that. Now, I'm aware, I was aware of a gentleman, and I know this gentleman, he keeps showing me the Eddie Stobart trucks, you know, where they have the green frontis and then the names on them. And I know that with this man, that if he didn't drive an Eddie Stobart truck, he used to either take photos and appreciate them, but I feel that this gentleman had a connection with driving these heavy goods vehicles and things like that for his livelihood when he was here on Earth. Would someone understand that? 1, 2, 3. Oh, crikey, there's a lot of you. Okay. With this gentleman, can I just check? Did he drive an Eddie Stobart?
No, but he did.
No? No. But he did love them. Okay. All bear with me when we get this here. I know that with this gentleman that he must have been very involved in unions as well at the time and would have been very involved with the unions. No. We've got 2. And I know that, keep listening, but I know that as he talks to me here, he's talking about the situations that occur here now, where there are strikes and things going on, and he said it's about time, it's been far too long that everything has gone on. And he would have been he would have said, although he considered himself to be a very working class man, he took pride in what he was doing, because he said, without people like me, the wheels of industry wouldn't work. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, stay all with me. We might have a triple link and just make it work. But I know as well that as he talks about this here, would you understand where the name of Rob or Bob connects? Yes? No? No. Lovely. So we'll stay with Arisha then. There we go, done. Thank you. But I know that as he talks here, there is this great sense with him of saying, there's nothing wrong in being proud in what you do. And it's not an ego thing. It's about knowing that what you do helps people. And that's what he saw. When he was driving these big trucks, he said, if all of this stopped, the whole of the country grinds to a halt. And so I know that he has this feeling of wanting to encourage you to take the pride in what you do and how you help people. And, when we were talking earlier about the other people, I can't say what he would say about those other people, but I know how he used to talk about the big bosses, the bankers, and the politicians. And he's viewing them in the same way. And he said, I'd say to them what I'd say to the people that do that with you. You understand? And I know that here, whenever he would talk to you, whenever he would encourage you, he would make you feel like the rest of the world had disappeared and there was only you. Because in my eyes now, there's nobody in this room by you and him. Okay? And I know that's how he would be. And I know that there is such a great love, such a great affection. He is such a funny man as well, because he's not afraid to take the tittle out of himself, even when he wasn't well. He would make jokes about his condition. He would make jokes about his size and his weight and everything like that. He'd do all of those kind of things because he said it didn't matter. He said I knew what I was worth. Okay, nobody could take that away from me. And I know that in his younger days, there was a lot of aggravation around in his family.
Yes.
and that he survived in spite of the family dramas. Okay, and I know that as I say that, there is somebody, not you, but somebody that you have been talking to here recently that is having a similar situation where the family are fighting, and you have been stepping in and trying to help. Okay, and he said, he said they will break free of that family. They will break free, as I did. I had to make my own way. I had to go my own way. You understand all that? Okay. Anything else you want to give? I don't see you wearing it. So would you understand the gift of a golden horseshoe? Either being worn on a chain or being worn on a bracelet.
I can't place it.
Did you understand? Did he know someone who trained horses?
My daughter used to train.
Okay. And did she not used to have a golden horseshoe that was worn? Can you go back and think about that? Because I feel as if I've got to bring in the connections where the training of the horses and that is. And so obviously he's bringing the love and connection there as well. Okay. Who's Mandy?
There's 2 or 3 men.
Oh, are there? Oh, okay. Well, it says hello to all of them. I just feel as if, again, I've got to bring love and healing around where Mandy is. So Mandy, who's here, I want to bring love and healing around, okay? I know it's present. It's not past, it's present, okay? So let me just leave his love and his bear hugs. He's one of those that don't want to let you go. You know when some guys, when you have that hug and they don't want to let it go because actually for them, this is everything. This is just the moment of I'm loved and I'm showing love and it's everything. He's doing that, okay? To the point where probably you're going, I can't breathe, but I know there's the love there. So let me leave that with you. Say God bless. Okay. And... okay, that's interesting. I'm hearing someone talk about I've got it in my head that I'm going to say it wrong. Ontario, Canada. And I know that I've got a gentleman with me here, and I know that there is a friendship connection that must take us to Ontario, Canada. And I know with this gentleman, I feel as if I've got grandfather here in the spirit world. He is not connected to Ontario, Canada, before anyone says, I've got a granddad like that, but he didn't live in Ontario. I know that this gentleman, this grandfather, is very changeable in his mood. Literally like the changing of the weather. He can be fine one minute, then the next minute he's in a funny mood, then the next minute he's in a funny mood. And he chops and changes. He's a nice man, but he's just very quixotic in his nature, very quick to change. But I know I've got to find where this grandfather is connected, where someone here has these connections with friendships in Ontario, Canada. Who would understand that? You understand? Oh, okay. Bear with me 1 second. And would you understand this thing about your grandfather's behaviour? Very changeable. Okay. Your father. Her father. Oh, sorry. Right. Okay. Because it's this sense. Bear with me 1 second. Then. Is there still connections to there, or were there for a long time with your mum? Were there friendships that still remained there?
She has family there, but they weren't talking.
Okay, because I have to say, I feel that there are still some level of connection that's there, and I want to talk about friendships as well.
I've just realised my friend is visiting Canada at the moment.
Oh, okay, so lovely. Okay, well, we'll allow that to fit, just purely for time. And but I feel that it's Grandad that comes in here, okay? And I know that when Grandad's coming in, it's really, really funny, this quick changing nature of his and his emotions. And it's not, I don't see it as a bad thing, but I see it as a very weird thing, because you know, 1 minute he's fine and the next minute he's moaning. You're just like, what changed this? It's almost like, you know, when people say, God, there is quick as changing of the weather in the bay. Weird thing to say, but that's what I hear. And but I know that as he's coming in here, there's a great love here for you, okay? And you oh bless him, you made my mood always better, okay? You know, I get that kind of, I think we're always the the light in the eye of our grandparents in many respects. But I know that as he talks about this here, would you understand though that somebody here on the earth has been going through these really severe mood shifts, where they 1 minute they're up, 1 minute they're down, and it's a lot. And this isn't with a friendship connection to the family, where there's somebody and they're just going in and out of these moods, and it's as if, and this should be known, this is close to home. Possibly me, but do you understand the rest of it?
Not Ontario, but Canada.
Okay.
My friend Canada and the rest of it.
Bear with me. Will you keep listening as well for me, just a second? But you understand about the grandfather and the personality and the shifting and the changing and
Absolutely.
okay.
Yeah.
But Grandad's in the spirit world. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Still listen to me, lovely lady at the back, just in case this is a catch up between the two of you. But this nature, and it almost feels like from Grandad that I want to keep encouraging the positivity.
Yes.
Okay, and anything else can be let go elsewhere in private.
Yes.
Okay. Would you also please then understand where Grandad at one point would have had a motorbike?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Remember that as well? No. So we are. But thank you for saying, because I keep feeling as if he would, like some men would go down the garden and have a potter in the shed. He'd go off on the bike.
Probably did, yes.
And go out into the country or go out into areas where there are no people, so he could have his moment to think about things. And I also say that there must be around you then this I'm going to go out for a walk and I'm going to go out into some greenery. I'm just going to go out and take myself out of situations just
Yes.
to.
That's what I do.
Good. Well, he knows. You see, he knows. You know, he knows. Because I have this feeling as you do that he's walking with you. He's reassuring you. You know, for all of this changeable personality, he was a very reassuring presence. Okay, because I get the feeling from him that although he was reactionary to whatever went on around him, he did learn, and more so from the spirit side of life, how to look at things in a more adjusted way. And what we were talking about earlier is just how we view it, how we choose to take it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This may be something you've done and need to go back to. Would you understand about writing positivity and affirmations and positive thoughts and statements? You doing that?
Sure.
Because I'm seeing writing in a book, and it's as if I'm writing down the positive things and the things I'm grateful for and the things that have gone well, almost like keeping a journal. Did you used to do that?
I have probably written bits of that in the past.
Well, can you do that again?
Okay.
Because I get the feeling that it's about what we want to focus on, what we want to recreate. Like we were talking in the address, there's this sense of saying there are things that we need to create, we need to focus upon, so that the other things don't overwhelm the good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'm not opening up the private things because there's been a lot of private conversations recently where you've discussed this with a person or people.
Yeah.
Okay. But I know that there is this sense of it's all there for you. You've got all the tools. You've got to use them. You've got to apply them. Okay. And I'm also, I know that he would have been one of those people that if he had a change of pocket, he'd jangle change in his pocket. And there must be memories of him then taking that out and leaving little piles of coins on ledges.
You could have done actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now, I'm not going to talk to you about money or anything like that, but I'm aware of wanting to carry a stone with you. And did you used to do that as well?
I used to.
You did? Well, there you go. He knows what you had. Because he's saying you almost want to go back to that same, like we call it worry stones, don't we? We put the worry into the stone. And there's this sense from him. And these are all little things he wants you to employ to just find it easier. I know you're always smiling when you come here, but I know that we all do that when we come out, but sometimes we just need to follow it through in other areas, okay? What's that about? I'm hearing the word stag. Did you used to live near somewhere where there was something called the stag?
No, but a stag as in the reindeers
Yeah,
is quite significant.
Okay.
Yes.
because I just heard stag.
I've been somewhere.
Okay, like Lapland and things and places where you've got, okay, that's fine. It's a Lapland?
Yes.
Oh, okay, lovely. How fabulous. Like Lapland, yeah, Lapland. Because I just heard stag and I saw the image of a stag and it made me think of Lapland. So again, just know that this is all around. And again, sometimes there are things that are surreal in life, but actually those are quite interesting moments. Sometimes we don't always have to just understand, just be in the moment of, a bit like when you see an animal and you go, wow, and it's just like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and that's where I'd like to think about things and dreams beyond. What, you know, I don't like using the word bucket list because everybody thinks when we start talking bucket list, we're thinking about end of life.
Yeah.
It's not about that.
Yeah.
The dreams and wishes we still have.
Okay.
Okay?
Right, thank you.
And I'm also hearing just on passing away Margaret as well being called, who might have been Peggy at one point.
I know the name, but I can't.
Hold it and think about it.
Yeah.
This gentleman seems to know it. Grandad seems to know it, so it may be back with him. Unless I've moved on. Have I got time for another quick one? Thank you, Barry. Can I? Yes, one quick one. Thank you, Jamie. I'll remember that on Wednesday night. I'll go easy. Okay. I'm actually. Although I've given you, Margaret, I can keep hearing it coming again with a lady calling it out, and I know that I'm Margaret, but I think almost nobody knows me as Margaret. They know me as Peg or Peggy. I know as well with this lady that I've had a lot of problems like a rheumatoid arthritis or an arthritic condition, but it's gone through my legs, my toes, my hands, literally every little part of me, bless her. As I'm moving and I'm walking, I'm feeling very uncomfortable, but I'm soldiering on through it. Who would understand that, please? One? Anyone else? No? Well, since you're off the platform today, it's not a problem, is it really? But I know with this lady, I almost feel, because of the pain and the discomfort, I look and feel a lot smaller than I am. I know that sounds a very funny thing to say, but you know how you hold yourself in pain and it diminishes you. And this lady was not one to be diminished, okay? But you know when sometimes you catch a glimpse of parents and loved ones and suddenly you see them and think how frail they've become. And there's a memory of this, of when it hits you, and you suddenly go, oh my God, I've just realised the body and the spirit are very different things here. And I know that as she brings this in, she's talking about the power of the spirit to overcome the pain and the discomfort in the body. And so I know she's got this understanding of healing, and even when she's not in the greatest space, she says, I still know I can do what I can do. Yeah. And I can't, and there's a point here where I can't even open my hands up to rest them on someone. Right. But I know that power, even if I just sit with them, is there. Okay? And I feel very much as well, she's not argumentative for the sake of being argumentative, but she said, if I'm not going to agree, I'm going to have to disagree, and I'm not going to sit by and let someone say something or get away with something that I don't think is fair, and I don't think always holds water. And I know that as she talks about this, she's saying, yes, and you do the same, that you can't let something go. It's better to air it. And would you understand, I know this is a memory that could apply to everyone going back, but would you understand how much she loved and cared and looked after linens? Because I'm seeing washing lines full of the most crisply clean sheets, as if they're bright. Okay, you understand? Because it's literally like I've absolutely washed these within an inch of their life, and they're then pressed and done, even if they're not going straight on, but they're pressed, they're done, they're everything. It's literally, it's almost military in the way of it being done. And, you know, and there is this pride, even in something as simple as a sheet, there is the pride in doing it right. And I know that as she talks about this, we're not talking about your bed linen or anything like that, but we're talking about the way that even if the simplest things are done right, everything else follows. I'm reminded there's that general who wrote a speech for teens about if you do one thing right, make your bed every morning. Yeah. And about the pride in that. And again, like we said, the tiny steps that are being made and done. This is really weird, I don't do this. But this must be significant because it's more politician, as I'm telling you. But I know that there is this feeling, and I feel that oh, okay. Do you know, it's really, really interesting for all the bravado and things that she had. She could be very much the mediator with people, because she's almost politician. Or I don't mean to be rude to her. She's almost politician-like in the way that with some people she would handle them with a certain deference and know that even if she didn't care for the person, she had to treat them with a certain level of respect. Yeah. And I think again that comes from the military side of things, that you know you might not like the person who commands you, but you have to show them respect. And I feel here as well that as she brings this in, there are people that we may have to deal with, which we may not like at some point in time, but we show them the deference for whatever, you understand? So she's bringing you the politician's tact. Okay, what else should I get? Now I know obviously in the news with the Queen there's been a lot of things to do with corgis, but do you know where there were corgis, please, as well? Because she's just bringing my attention to corgis as well here, and she is a dog person. She likes dogs. I don't think she cared for cats that much, but she liked dogs a lot. Okay, but I know that as she's talking about that here, she refers to loyalty as well, and about the importance of loyalty of those around you, and the strength that is around you, and the support that goes onwards, both here and from spirit. Okay. Anything else you want to say, sweet? She also talks about having met Jeannie since she's back here in spirit, who must have gone before her, ahead of her. And would she have known someone by the name of Clement? You might have to think about this.
It's ringing a bell.
Yeah, I almost think it may be a surname of Clement, rather than the first name of Clement. But she's talking about all these people she's met. And there are, I know we can say there are loads of friends and neighbours from the past, but I want to go back to when she's younger as well, and starting family, and all the people that lived in the row.
Yes. Okay.
And that's where I want to go back. And in many ways, those were happiest of times, even though they weren't the easiest of times for her. You know, when we talked about looking back fondly, might have been tough, but we loved it. Yeah. And because everyone was there for each other. Okay, extended family, you know, everyone was an aunt and an uncle in the street, even though they weren't related. So she just takes me back to the memory of that. But just as I leave you there must be a ring of this lady's that still resides on the earth. Yes. And sometimes, I don't know whether you put this ring, I know you're not necessarily going to wear it, but sometimes taking it out and holding it to be close to her, because she's saying about almost like putting it on your little finger and just sort of, you know, musing. Oh, you've got it on your little finger today. I can't see that from here because I do need new glasses and can't afford them. But because there's me going on this finger, and there it is on your finger. So how lovely. So there you are. You put the ring on and she appears. She's like a genie in the lamp, isn't it? Rub it. She might materialise. Do it. Go on, do it. How lovely. But let me leave that love, that affection, that strength, that support. And, you know, get the little things right and everything else just falls into place. So I'll leave that with you. And ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of both myself and those in the spirit world, thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and I'll say good afternoon and God bless.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, everyone. I have the notices for this week Monday, that's tomorrow, at 7:15 there's a healing evening, if anyone wishes to take advantage of that. On Wednesday of this week we have, well, for the whole of the week, we have Frederick Hagland coming and doing an intensive course for advanced mediums, I keep being told. And at Wednesday 2:30 there is an opportunity for people to have private sittings. The mediums will be doing private sittings, and that will be at the Branksome Dean Chine and the Branksome Dean rooms, which is quite close. All that we ask is that if you do take that up, then the donations go to either Marie Curie or Macmillan's, isn't it? Macmillan Local, yeah. Thanks. So that's Wednesday of this week in the afternoon, 2:30 to 3:30. So if you are interested, just have a word with Lawrence. Wednesday here is our normal 3 p.m. Divine Service, and this week it's David Powell who will be coming to do that for us. So that's good. And on Saturday evening online is the Lyceum evening, and that is going to be Frederick Hagland. I keep on calling Fred.
I do. He doesn't like it. Remember that next
Remember
week.
that. Yeah, so that's online at 7 p.m. Sunday, 11 a.m. we're going to have Frederick Hagland doing the Divine Service as well, so he's working hard this week. Great. And I'm also here to tell you there are free apples and pears still available on the tree.
That way. It's pears and apples, because if you say apples and pears, you know what they're all going to say.
Where are the stairs?
Right, thank you everybody for coming today. If I can ask Mark to do the closing prayer and blessing. Thank you.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, once more, let's just close our eyes and open our hearts and minds in prayer. Gracious and divine Spirit, we thank you for this time that we have shared together. Thank you for the love, the affection of friendship that fills this place. And allow us to take the love, the power, the inspiration and the healing of the spirit world with us into our daily lives. Let us share it with other people. Let us share that healing, that love, that kindness. Let us share words of inspiration to those we meet. Let us benefit the world. Let us be the ambassadors, the explorers. Let us become the ones that find the way through and show the way for others, to allow them to find a new way of being, a new way of living. So as always, we thank all of those from the spirit world who have been with us, who have been present, whether they are seen or heard or not. We know and feel their presence is close. And let us ask that they travel with us in our daily lives in the days and weeks to come. So for all that has been, for all that is, and for all the wonderful things yet to come in our lives, we thank you. Amen.
Amen.